Villains never frightened you. No matter how tough your adversary was, you found that it was just easy to be brave when you donned your hero suit. Your second skin always granted you the calm sort of rationality that your job demanded. So what was different about this situation? You thought since there was nothing to lose, there was nothing to worry about. You were wrong. You wring your hands trying to ease the last bit of nerves out of them before you made your entrance. Looking casual was key. You needed to look like you belonged and not like the starstruck, anxious, living on ramen noodles hero you actually were. Logically speaking, your nervousness was unfounded. For all you knew, you wouldn't even be called up onto the stage. You were still new to the whole heroing thing, and the chances of actually breaking the top 30 this time around were slim to none. Even so, you felt a little twinge of hope seep up into your chest.
Maybe this time.
Unlikely, but not impossible. They'd invited you to this thing after all, so that meant you had at least cracked the top 300. None of that would matter though, if you never
Entered the building. Damn it.
Those massive glass doors were just so imposing. There might as well have been a sign that said, "Important people only. Wannabes dare not enter." Seeing as you were probably closer to being a member of the latter group, you really needed to hype yourself up for this. So you just stood there, engaged in one of the longest staring contests ever held with an inanimate object. Thankfully, your match is interrupted when a gift from the heavens appears in the form of an old acquaintance.
Izuku Midoriya?
Your head shoots to the side when you spot the familiar twinge of green in the corner of your eye. His eyes widen, and for a moment you think that he can't really recognize you in your hero costume. You say your real name on the wind of an awkward laugh, eager to relieve some of the tension.
No, I remember you. It's just...
He scratches at the back of his head, searching for the ending to his sentence.
To be honest, I'm really just shocked to see you here.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised I got invited to this thing in the first place. And that was the truth. Still, it hurt a little to admit you'd barely done anything worthy of a top spot. Meanwhile, the fearless Deku was predicted to barrel into the top 20. Midoriya blinked slowly, then something snapped, and he was a shouting mess.
I meant outside. I didn't expect to see you outside.
He slams a hand to his forehead, and you can see the way his cheeks started to go a faint shade of pink.
God, that came out completely wrong. Of course I thought you'd be here. You're a fantastic hero. I even recorded that broadcast from last month. The one where you took out that syndicate boss without even using your quirk. And then there's a one where you faced
Just
all
seeing
those
him
villains
babble
out
is
in the
enough
park.
to brighten your mood a bit. This man was something else. Even as a pro hero, he had the same sort of humble authenticity that you'd first noticed in his academy days. Back then, he'd been the star of UA, and you'd been a nobody at some third-rate district institution. Really, he shouldn't have given you a second glance, but he had. Through nothing other than dumb luck, the two of you had snagged spots at the same agency the year after graduation. He'd had much better offers, but still chose to take a job in an unknown place at the heart of the city. He didn't stay long, but in that time he treated you as an equal. Hell, he'd even claimed that he wanted to learn from you. Like there was anything you could ever teach him. He'd left about a year later, but that was to be expected. He was destined for greater things. Hero to hero, I'm in desperate need of some advice. You decide to take a note from your role model, using this opportunity to learn something valuable. How do I deal with this? You hold up your arm. It's still shaking violently, even after all of this time.
Oh, that doesn't go away.
Midoriya chuckled. He held up a gloved hand, and you can see that it's trembling too.
You just get really good at being a nervous wreck. Eh.
You grinned.
Well, I don't want to see any shaking when you're up on that stage tonight.
Half of his mouth twisted up into a timid smile as he rubbed the back of his neck.
I don't know about that. I doubt I'll even be called up there tonight.
Come on! You rolled your eyes. Everyone knows you'll jump to at least 30. Probably higher. You'll be on the stage without a doubt. You spoke the words as though you've read the rankings ahead of time. You were that confident. Still, he didn't seem to believe you. He fiddled with his sleeve and looked anywhere else but you.
How about we make a deal?
You're not sure what part of your brain thought this would be a good idea, but the way he turned and looked at you with those huge green eyes made you think that maybe it wasn't the worst. You had nothing to lose but a little self-respect.
If I'm right and you break the top 30, no, let's say the top 20, then you have to buy me dinner.
His face flushed to a deep shade of red, and he stuttered out a few syllables. None of them made any sort of sense. As you watched him, you can feel your own face heating up. God, why couldn't you flirt or be encouraging or do just about anything without making a complete fool of yourself?
Okay.
He choked out the word. His voice is about an octave higher than usual, but the shock of his non-rejection is enough to shake you nonetheless.
On one condition.
His lips trembled slightly, and it's only then that you noticed that you've actually been staring at them. If you thought that he'd noticed, you're pretty sure you would have dropped dead right there.
I still get to buy you dinner if I don't make the top 20.
It's anything but suave, for goodness sake. He squeaked at the end of the sentence. It still managed to make your heart pound mercilessly in your chest. Through your embarrassment, you managed to nod. He returned the gesture. You nod again. There's a couple of seconds where the two of you just stand there like idiots, red-faced and shaking your heads at one another in a seemingly endless cycle. It's Midoriya that breaks it first, turning on his heel and making his way towards the building. It's funny. Those double doors don't look quite so scary anymore.
Izuku?
You called out when you noticed him struggling.
It says pull.